tinotenda mbiri yenyu. Hey. Kazizira kuchita kutono kuti zizizi. Ona tinotenda mbiri mbere, tinotenda mbiri yenyu Baba, tinotenda mbiri mbiri, tinotenda mbiri yenyu Baba, tinotenda mbiri ere, tinotenda mbiri yenyu Baba. Yavhurwa zvayo Facebook. Saka tikuti 9:15. Ngatimbo daidzirai vari mberi. Happy New Year Mukoma Yuda. Thank you. Happy New Year. Hanzi daidzanai. Tiye tikurukure nai. Pakaoma, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to revisit, or I'm going to visit President Nelson Chamisa's full text when he wrote that he has dumped CCC. We want to know. I'm going to read much about what the president deposited in his statement, because Zimbabweans have been thrown into the river of hungry crocodiles, but they have got a plan to swim out of that river. So that plan only resides in Nelson Chamisa. Let's try, or let's fight to extricate ourselves from the shenanigans of ZANU-PF. Today, we are going to look into the whole statement. I want to cast doubts from those doubting Thomases. I have urged the Zimbabweans to say, look, it's high time we should follow President Nelson Chamisa. We, amongst us, the opposition people, amongst us, there are traitors amongst us. People who agree to spy for the enemy amongst us. So I call upon all citizens to rally behind our president, President Nelson Chamisa. I call upon all citizens to rally behind fresh politics, to rally behind new politics, to rally behind genuine and credible leadership. This is why I have come today looking into what did the president say. Why are we swimming in hungry crocodiles? And why should we continue to swim in hungry crocodiles? President Chamisa is the only leader with a genuine leadership. I'm going to look into that. Marvin, how are you, my brother? So what I'm saying is, I'm calling upon all citizens of Zimbabwe, those particularly opposition members, that it's time you guys rally behind President Nelson Chamisa. It's time you rally behind the new politics. It's time we rally behind fresh leadership. We've got fresh politics coming. We've got fresh leadership coming. So let's rally behind it. ZANU-PF, let them take everything that they think they can take. Let them take the party. Let them take the name. Let them take everything that they can think they have put their hands on. Because these are the things we sweated for. We used to sleep here, live on Facebook, when it was MDC Alliance. Then they took everything that we sweated for. They took our monies and gave to Douglas Monzora. Don't forget that. Then we abandoned the drama. We said we are done with the dramas. We don't need dramas anymore. Then we came up with a new project known as Triple C. To be honest with you, whoever is going to claim that name is very foolish. Because the name Triple C came from the name we used to call Chamisa Quit. This is where Triple C came from. So I don't expect any citizen who rallied behind the Chamisa Quit project to look back. Let's move forward. We were almost there now, President Chamisa, and we are almost there. Triple C stands for Chamisa Quit. Whoever thinks Triple C stands for something else, you are totally lost. Saka, what I'm saying here, as I told you guys that Mnangagwa wants his son to lead the defense forces. I told you. Look at the red. These soldiers, older soldiers are retired. And then you tell where the direction is going. Thank you. So I am saying to the people of Zimbabwe that if you love fresh politics, if you love fresh leadership, if you rally behind genuine politics, genuine leadership, let's all rally behind President Nelson Chamisa. There is a reason to why we should rally behind President Nelson Chamisa. Because if you look at 2005, ZANU-PF took everything that we sweated for and gave it to Welshman Ngwe. You can still remember very well that the political funds, they went to Welshman Ngwe, who never fought for them. You can still agree with me that the political funding for 2018 went to Douglas Monzora, who never fought for it. The political funding for 2023, for 2013-14 elections went to Tendai Biti, who never fought it. So I want you guys to see that ZANU-PF, since we took part as the opposition in 2000, whilst we were in MDC, it's only one election that MDC, it's only 2 elections that MDC got the political funding, the political finance funding in 2000 and 2008. Since then, 2005, we never got anything. It was taken by Welshman Ngwe. All the properties that we fought for went to Welshman Ngwe. When he came back to MDC, he came empty-handed. He didn't bring anything. Any properties that he took with his MDC Welshman Ngwe, it never came back. And in 2018, Thokozani Kupe and his MDC Thokozani, they were given our funds. They went to Douglas Monzora and Thokozani Kupe. When Thokozani Kupe came back to the people, she came back empty-handed. She had nothing. And now they are taking our funds to give to Shabang. A person who do not own a political party. A person who doesn't have a position in any political party. And the ZANU-PF has seen it fit to take our money and give it to a surrogate ZANU-PF person who do not have the mandate to represent the people of Zimbabwe. Adede Florence, how are you? So I am saying here, we all understand the shenanigans of ZANU-PF. We all understand the shenanigans of the crocodile. That what he doesn't want is the people of Zimbabwe to benefit their sweat. We fought for the funds and they are being given to Shabang. So what I'm saying is, let ZANU-PF take everything that we sweated for. Whoever is the beneficiary of this is a fraudster. This is why you see I can't forgive Douglas Monzor, because the monies that he took does not belong to MDC Thokozane that they joined, they went back. When we went into 2018 elections, there were two MDCs, one led by Thokozane Kupe and one led by President Nelson Chamisa. And we won that election. Our funds were taken by Kupe, Douglas Monzor and Kamban. The monies that we fought for. So to me, Thokozane Kupe is a fraudster. To me, Douglas Monzor is a fraudster. Those people are criminals. When we talk about criminals in a country, fraudsters are criminals. If I see Watchman Ngu as a criminal, he took the political funding in 2005, the monies that we fought for. Those are criminals. In 2013-14, when PDP was formed, Tendai Biti went with the properties of MDC. Because they said they were MDC renewal. I don't know what they were going to renew. I don't understand what they were going to renew. But they took all the funds. They took all the properties. They put all our monies to PDP with the likes of Mafume, Jacob Mafume. So I'm saying these are traitors. Traitors that are found in the opposition circles. So let me be clear with you here. The price of betrayal is very high. The price of being a traitor is very high. It's just a warning that I'm giving to those traitors, that you have drawn back this people's struggle. You have delayed the removal of ZANU-PF because you are traitors. I don't want to hide this anymore. I am so angry. Wilson really say, I'm very angry, Nkoma Wilson. Very, very angry today. Even if you look at my face, it's not the face that people all usually know. The face that always smile. But today I'm very, very angry. I will sing Diruora and no Peza, don't worry about that. I will sing Diruora and no Peza, don't worry about that. But I am very angry. Because I'm looking at traitors. People who do not have an ideology. People who are just occupying opposition space because of money. People who compromise our efforts, who compromise our fight for democracy. Because they wear this ego that Pasina inini opposition haifambe. Taka win a 2008 election, we had no Watchman Ngu there. He was not there. Aito ita politics zana malambo ve ZANU-PF vanasima makuni. These people are spies. And these people, they work as double agents. And these people are traitors. So this is why I'm saying, genuine citizens, this is the time to rally behind fresh politics. Genuine citizens, this is the time to rally behind genuine and fresh leadership. Genuine citizens, this is the time to rally behind credible leaders. So what I'm saying now, Shama, go eat with Ashi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you sit down later.
No problem.
I need to do my live here.
No problem.
Guys, do you understand what I'm saying here? That ZANU-PF has taken everything that we have sweated for years and years. We have sweated for. ZANU-PF has taken it. And they don't seem to stop unless we stop them. In 2018, after election, they took our party, they took the name, they took the headquarters, they took everything. And the likes of Monzora Kupe, who benefited out of that, are fraudsters. So, this might be a stunning development. What the President Chamisa has done, he has shocked a lot of people. He really shocked a lot of people. And the ZANU-PF never expected this. They never expected this. Because they had their double agents implanted in CCC. And they never expected that Chamisa would say goodbye to CCC. Because CCC came from Chamisa Chete. It's not an easy thing to dump such an organization that he built from scratch. There are strong reasons why our genuine president, our genuine leader, decide to say enough is enough. Chamisa has got full information about how these things were plotted. How this group of traitors plotted his downfall. They did not want his downfall. They wanted Chamisa to die. They wanted Chamisa to be killed. This is what these traitors wanted. What they are fighting for is the prolongation of ZANU-PF rule. They want to prolong ZANU-PF rule. And by prolonging ZANU-PF rule, they led to the death of Morgan Tsvangirai. And now they want Chamisa to die. We have got traitors in the opposition space. And we know these double agents. We have known these double agents before. Nofunga next time kana totaura vana Yuda vakuru vedu avachateerera. Vakuru vedu vachateerera kuti mboteerera Yuda zvaari kutaura. Togadzirisa zvinenge zvataurwa naYuda. Because I can't call them controversies. The involvement of Shavangu. And Onanit, just someone who come out of the bush and say, look, I own this organization. Akuna, even Nyangotaka Mboita ma Secretary General. Akuna Secretary General anogara paso ese executive yake ega. Zvisina vamo, zvisina president anoziva mukati. Because msangano wese unoitwa part unochewa na president. President, kana paronzi parugadzwa Secretary General wacho achinzi ndo interim, the president should have known. Ingana pakatwa musangano wagarwa pasi kuziva kuti akusa an interim Secretary General. I still recall President Chamisa vachinyaradza Charlton Wende kuti atina before the elections at 2023, atina that position in our organization as Secretary General. There's a video, ndakaitsvaga video, I can't see it, but ndikaiona, I'll share it with you. So this is what our president has called contaminated political environment. This is what our president has said. This is poor, sewer pond politics that you witness happening in our country. People must stop being thrown into the crocodile-infested pool. People, we need to stop it. And there is no one who can stop it besides our intelligent leader. ZANU-PF saw a perfect opportunity of using these traitors to destroy a project that we built from scratch. after we were frustrated by the likes of Monzora and Kamban. Here is a statement, ladies and gentlemen, that was written by President Nelson Chamisa on the future of Zimbabwe. President Chamisa, for your own information, when I saw this statement circulating, is this statement coming from President Chamisa? I had no time to read the statement because but I can confirm that yes, the statement was written by President Chamisa. So I'm going to look into this statement. It was put in a point form, around 50 or so points were put. I'm going to try to cover all the points that President Chamisa put down. For the benefit of doubt, kune vasina kuverenga statement yacho. But I'll go point by point. If I cannot exhaust all the points today, I'll continue tomorrow to make sure that I cover all necessary points on this statement that was issued by our President Nelson Chamisa. Ndatibatai kutaura kwangu kuti sare kuti triple C rakabva paye pataiti Chamisa chete chete. Mwana mfana vuka. Ndisakatanga tichema manager Chamisa chete chete, Chamisa chete chete. Ndikataurira, ndakavatextira president. Kutara. Ndikati President Chamisa, you are a brand. And so that why are we sticking on MDC? Why can't we let the MDC go? Then we follow the brand Chamisa. Patakatanga hondo Chamisa chete tererai ma presentations andakaita kudhara. Anokupai a rough idea. Ndichitaura nyaya yekuti ndabva kutextira President Chamisa ndichivabvunza. Ndikati taiwena mudhara tsvangira iri brand. But your brand Chamisa is surpassed the legacy of President the late Tsvangirai. Why can't you move on, Mega? Then we'll follow you. Then we will follow you, President. Saka ndiri kutaura panapa ndichiti right for the first point. President Chamisa anzina Carson Nyamaropa Yuda Taneta na Chamisa chero akavhura imwe part zvinongoramba zvichiitika. Zvinoramba zvichiitika because we are not rallying enough behind him. I am telling you, we are not doing enough as Zimbabweans. Because when Shavangu invaded Triple C, takapeta maoko takamutarisa achita zvaanoda. We cannot blame the president for that. And ukatarisa futi custom for your own information. Triple C aina kufomwa nemunhu one. All these traitors were involved in the formation of Triple C. Vachinotengesa information outside. They were betraying the organization from the beginning. Let's form a political party away from these traitors. Let's not give them relevance which they don't have. Because tavapa relevance yekufunga kuti kana vasipo ivo opposition aimire munyika. Vakutoona ownership of opposition space. Kuti hakuna imwe opposition party inofana kubuda kunze kwavo ivo. Takaona wana biti vachita PDP. It fluffed. Tikaona wana MDC Ncuve, MDC Mtambara chi. Kakaveka regional party. Vaoneka party kainzi MDC Ncuve. Kapati kainzi MDC Ncuve. Kekuti vakafunga kuti vaise mundevele vakaona kuti hakuna kwaanoenda. Vakanotsvaga mushona wavakanotora kuAmerica kwainzi Mtambara. Vakauya vakamuti Mtambara chiita president iwe. Ndikabvunza kuti but pamakatiza makatiza nana Gibson Sivanda. Anditi makatiza muri ka regional party. Mukati muri kuenda kumatebelele and you confined yourself there. Mukata leader when Chamisa right makutora leader. Mushona futi. Matiza tsvangirai mushona. Mono yana leader mushona. Mva mutitani kapati kedu. Zvakafana kuti shavangu atora kublawayo akudiwi mandevele. Anzi kublawayo akudiwi mandevele. Anzi akudiwi mashona kudiwa mandevele chete. Ndobva ati takudzinga mashona esa akaelectwa Matebeleland. That is tribalism. Unacceptable in our country. Breach of the constitution of the country. As MDC 1990 yakambouya one. Yakambouya 1999 iyo takaiona. Ikaflafa. It fluffed. We follow a leader. We don't follow my idiotic ideologies. Takamboona MDC renewal. Ikazobuda ya PDP. Tikaona MDC 1999. Zvakaflafa zvese zvazvo. Vanhu vakanga vasina political lifeline. They had to get political lifeline from Tsvangirai. Saka takutaura kuti ngatimbomirai zvekupa vanhu relevance yavasina. We have fought since 2000 up to now. Tikada kubvunza, what did we achieve as opposition? In that opposition, in that infested opposition space, we have achieved nothing. For the past 24 years. Tikutamba nema emotions and feelings of the people. Hakuna kwatiri kuenda se opposition. Because we have got traitors amongst us. Ndosaka manzo nachitaura ndikati ukaverenga if you read the assassination of Chitepo, ZANU-PF yaiveneka language kavaishandisa kuti send that traitor home. When they say send a traitor home, they don't mean kuti mupinzei motikari momudzosera kumusha. They mean kuti takurai munhu musungei maoko moenda naye kusango monobora musoro nepisto. Musiya mauraya, musiya makanda mhuka dzodya. Because that person is a traitor. Someone who agreed to sell party secrets to an enemy. Someone who betrays. This is the highest betrayal of the people of Zimbabwe. You come in to join us. You don't even have shame. We look at you on the face. You don't even feel ashamed of yourself. That I'm here as a traitor. Kutaita maslogan. Nema citizens. Giving false hope to the citizens. Sakandukutara, those double agents, those spies, those traitors, they must know that being a traitor, it carries the highest price, or the price of betrayal is very, very high. They have to know it. We must send this signal to them that the price of betrayal is very, very high. You might be a spy, you might be a double agent, you might be a traitor in the opposition space. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Sakandukutara, those people who feel they want genuine leadership, they want genuine politics, fresh politics. Let's rally behind President Nelson Chamisa. This is the time we should show ZANU-PF that enough is enough. Saka statement ya president ndo yandiri kudiscussa panapo. Kune vasina kuona mukana wekuiverenga. Let's go through the statement. Tichibreaka tichinatso understand what is the president saying. First of all, point number 1. He went on to write that, fellow Zimbabweans, fellow citizens, I come to you with a heart full of gratitude and a deep sense of responsibility. I am aware that our beloved country is going through a very difficult and challenging circumstances, politically, economically, and socially. The majority of the citizens are flocking into the diaspora. Those who are at home are hustling for a living with a great toil yet without a fair return. Things are hard. Life is difficult, but this must and will soon come to an end. No, first point, yakataurwa naPresident Chamisa. He's coming to you, the people of Zimbabwe, with a heart full of gratitude. Point number 2, he went on to write, it is exactly 2 years since I announced to you the formation of the CCC. You are aware of what has been unfolding over the past years and months in our beloved country, particularly during the period of run-up to the election and to the present day. Hanzi iyeuchidzo, point number 2, iri kuyeuchidzai kuti apana asiri kuziva zviri kuitika munyika, especially for the past years and mwedzi yapfuura. Everybody is full aware of what is happening in Zimbabwe. Point number 3, he went on to say, you will no doubt recall and distinctively note the pre-election problems we encountered, characterized by ZANU-PF and ZEC's refusal to effect necessary political and constitutional and electoral reforms. Imi, Saturday my elections, takaona ma double candidates. Vanhu vakachema vakabvunza, where are the double candidates coming from now? Takaenda kucourt, chida kubvisa ma double candidates. Kuti avangashandise zita redu, vakasainirwa mapepa nani. Those are some of the shenanigans that we all encountered pre-election. Kuti vanhu vatikuona tumoti vanhu tikuonyuka nzana masarirevu. Vakasainirwa mapepa nani. Kubulawayo, they were all double candidates. Atina kuziva kuti we have got traitors amongst ourselves. People who were busy signing for other candidates. Koti ikaramba kuvabvisa. Kuti hativabvise bosi vakasainirwa. Tikavata, who's the signatory? You have got the signatories for genuine CCC. Where are these traitors coming from? And it takazviona zvese zvazvo. Kuti president vaiti vakasaina kuti macandidates aya ndo aelectwa nevanhu vari kumirira CCC. Taizoona macandidates asainirwazve nevamwe vanhu vatinavo. Kuti zvaakushamisa kuti konai angave Wende asainira mapepa ningi akamira sani, angave Biti asaina mapepa aningi akamira sani. Zeki kabvunzwa kuti hamuna here masignatories, why are you accepting fraudulent papers? Vakataura kuti sotanai mega ikoko. Surprisingly today tiri kuona vanhu veCCC varunzi vari kubviswa neZeki, vari kubviswa nekoti. The same court yakataura kuti sotanai mega, you are a political party. So those shenanigans, we have encountered them as people. We have encountered them as people. And so, the point number 4, you are aware of the delimitation report fatal errors and manipulation, exorbitant nomination fees challenges, the sponsoring of fake double candidates, both the presidential and the parliamentary, from participating in the general elections. Point number 5, you may also have noticed our resolve, notwithstanding a lot of challenges, to enter the election race, which we did under protest and against all odds. This was necessitated by your call and the need to give you, the citizens of Zimbabwe, a fighting chance. Point number 5, that means President varutaura kuti my citizens ndima akataura mukati handei, let's go and fight. then we went into this election. It was the citizens' drive. It was not one person political decision. Point number 6, President Chamisa wrote, you notice the intimidation and the violence, psychological and cohesion. You noticed this. Every time Chamisa wanted to address a rally, people will be bludgeoned to death by ZANU-PF. Until now, those who killed those people have never been arrested. We are still waiting for arrest and persecution of perpetrators of violence. Not even one was arrested. They unleashed the reign of terror on the citizens of Zimbabwe during the election and after the elections. Particularly in the rural Zimbabwe, people suffered. Point number 7, you noticed the incredible and unshamed harassment that we were subjected to during our campaigns. Mnangagwa spending all Zimbabwe resources in trying to destroy opposition in our country. He has spent 7 years now as president of Zimbabwe. He's channeling all the resources into the destruction of the opposition, not into the development of the country, not into the road infrastructure, but on the destruction of the CCC. ZANU-PF itself, it needs new leaders. It needs a revival. Because what ZANU-PF has at this moment is the 1960s ideology, where Mnangagwa what Mnangagwa thinks is all about destroying the opposition, not the development of a country. And it's so alarming in the 21st century. That should not be a norm. So this is the point number 7 President Chamisa is bringing to you. The unshamed harassment that CCC was subjected. That it was subjected during the elections, after the elections, and during those campaigns. They used the courts. The unfortunate thing is Zimbabwe justice, the bench that is supposed to ensure justice to the people of Zimbabwe, is a bench filled with opposition. It's a bench filled with political activists, ZANU-PF political activists, maboda gezi, ma youth, ma war veterans, wana bunu, no ma judge ariko kugaikoto. And they were writing judgments of banning CCC. Aina utombobvumirwa kuita a rally. I only remember CCC being allowed to hold 2 rallies, the war campaign to the election. 2 rallies were only allowed. All the rallies that they wanted to hold were banned by police. They were banned by the criminal judges we think are the judges or people who are supposed to ensure justice in our country. So this is the point number 7 President Chamisa is talking about. The banning of our rallies, including the rally to launch our manifesto in Bindura and other rallies exceeding 100 in total. 100 plus rallies were banned. CCC is a political ideology that only got into people's mind through social media. Taitorara wana Shepherd Judah. Tichikambeena isusu vanhu vachishare mavideos vachikatakata vachishare magroups zvichisvika kumaruzeva kuti kwane party itsva inonzi CCC. Until today takasvika kupinda election kumaruzeva vamwe havatombozivi kwakune new political party inonzi CCC. Havazvizivi because information was not allowed to filter there. And all this banning of these political rallies, it's on record. Because mapurisa vangu vasingangobhane vaitonyora tsamba yotosainwa naDispo kunzi rally tabhana. So we were creating records. Records are there to prove. that CCC was never allowed to campaign in Zimbabwe. Point number 8. You would have noticed the devilish and unashamed attempt by the incumbent to disqualify our candidates. 12 members of parliament in Bulawayo, they wanted to be disqualified. ZANU-PF is full away. Under what circumstances they can't win a seat in Bulawayo? So they thought, okay, what we can do is let's ban them. Imagine a ruling party is banning opposition to participate in an election. So why are you calling for an election in Mnangagwa? You want Zimbabwe or Zimbabweans to be subjected to democracy, but you don't allow democracy in our country. You ban opposition politicians from participating in politics. We saw Severus Kasukwere who wanted to come to stand as an opposition being banned. And then why are you calling for elections? It defies logic. Why Mnangagwa wants elections to be held in Zimbabwe when you don't allow people to participate in that election? You only want your ZANU-PF to participate. So ingotauraika kuti hakusina ma-elections munyika. Vanhu voziva kuti hakusina ma-elections. Ndani kumira papodium tikuenda kuma-elections. Chokuvarakasha. Unovarakasha uchivaramidza kuparticipate. Ande morwana. Saka unotozoona kuti ZANU-PF inoda leadership renewal. ZANU-PF pachayo haina leader. Haina leader. Because munoda election, but you don't want to be contested. So point number 8 here, President Chamisa is pointing to that. Could you would have noticed by the incumbent unashamed attempt to ban or disqualify 12 CCC members of parliament in Bulawayo. And those are the same members of parliament Shabang is recalled. To those who are got doubts, Ekuti Shabang is a surrogate of ZANU-PF. He went on to recall the same members of parliament who were banned, who were disqualified by Mnangagwa from taking part in the general election. Point number 9, President Chamisa wrote, you would have noticed an unprecedented number of electoral legal petitions before the elections, which resulted from the incumbent's attempt to stop fair contestation. Point number 10, you would have noticed the bizarre events that occurred on the day of voting, where despite ZEC preparing for the elections for 5 years, failed to deliver voting ballots and materials timelessly or at all. Point is a very important point. The same point yakataurwa ne European Union. European Union ndo yaifinance ama elections. Ndosaka muri kuona Zimbabwe yanga isingaremerwe nema elections. Ma elections eku Zimbabwe aifinanced ne European Union. Vana Zeki vaipuwa mari vonzi prepare. Zeki knew after the 2018 election that we are going to have 2023 elections. So they started the preparations of that. They were doing the voters' roll, they were doing the delimitation, they were doing all sorts of shenanigans to ensure that by the time we get to 23 August, all elections and the material will be ready for voting. But makazviona kuti musi wekuvhota ballot paper rakatanga kusvika kuuzumba maramba pfungwe risati rasvika pabudiriro. Mapepa anoprintwa pafidelity printers 20 minutes away from budiriro. 5 minutes walk from Chikurubi unenge wasvika pafidelity printers uchifamba netsoka. Zvoti vaingopa munhu kuti takura maballot paper uende nawo paChikurubi netsoka. But akatanga kusvika 4 hours away from fidelity printers mapepa ekuvhota. Harare yakasara isina mapepa, Bulawayo yakasara isina mapepa. Ainosvika kunkai. Kuhange, ainosvika mapepa. Bulawayo isati ane mapapers. Despite 5 years, Zezek, I prepare my elections. And the Maria Chavashansa kuprinda, Isiavo, Imaria Bagu European Union. So you all saw that happening. Thanks, Malenkos. So you all saw that happening. That is point 10. Yanyorwana President Chamisa. Point number 11, he went on to say, you would have observed the involvement of FAS throughout the country, the intimidation of voters, the sponsoring of double candidates, their attempt to discourage voting process by unleashing propaganda flyers on the voting day, and by setting up illegal tables purporting to be exit poll survey desks to intimidate voters, particularly in the rural areas. Nanasi tingoposta mavideo ezvimadeski zvainzi exit pool. Zvinhu zvakanga zvisingatenderwe kunzi hazvitenderwe papolling booth. Kunzi vanhu vainzi kana vapedza kuvhota munoya panapa munyoresa mastaini. Kana makuenda kunovhota munonyoresa mastaini. Hakuna election yakadaro. That was allowed. Ndanzwa bururu wangu aita ranza Chamisa what. We allowed that to happen. There was nowhere President Chamisa would come and say this table must be buggled off here. But citizens allowed it to happen. Then we blame our leader. You guys have noticed. You have noticed and witnessed the balanced, authentic election observers reports, including SADC, AU, Commonwealth, EU, and notably SADC and AU reports, which condemned the electoral process and the outcome and declared it almost a non-event, null and void. Once Chamisa ana plan, hoyo mkana, Asia itai plan, politics, about numbers. Thank you, Mkoma Sheikh. Thank you so much. Saka point number 12. Iri kuratidza kuti atisisu chete takaona kuti my elections they were not held free and fair. AU yakaona, SADC yakaona, African National Union, European Union, dzese koza imwe yainzi kata what dzese. Vakanyora ma reports condemning the election that it was a non-event or a null and void. So this is where the illegitimacy of Mnangagwa came from. Mnangagwa is not a legitimate leader. Nosa mrukonana pa akaenda kunamu pakada unomira pane ma president akaelectwa, they came and pulled him out. Vakamuti, you are not a legitimate leader of Zimbabwe. Saka you are not allowed to win a photo shoot. They had to pull him out of there. Those are zvinoita. Ndo inonzi illegitimacy yoyo. Akabva agumbuka achibva atopinda mundege achibva aenda kuDRC. Akasiya musangano uchiitwa uko. Anditi bona. Saka ibvai matoziva kuti chinhu chinonzi illegitimacy chakaipa. Mnangagwa went there uninvited. He wanted to try to go and stand pane elected president, and they vakabva vamhanya vakanomudhonza vakati iwewe hausi elected president of a country, you are an imposter. Saka akabva agumbuka Mnangagwa achibva atopinda mundege achitokwira ndege achienda kuDRC. Yes, very true. Adedenje, he was pulled out. No, you are not a legitimate leader of a country. You are not an elected president. So vakabva vamuita pull out of the line up ema president. He was frustrated. Achibva atonokwira ndege ipapo achibva aenda kuDRC. Akasiya musangano uchiitwa. It's very true. So point number 14. You have noticed that soon thereafter, the incumbent embarked on a process of consolidated authoritarianism by decimating the genuine alternative. Point number 15. This was realized through various illegal methods and criminal stratagems including the infiltration of the alternative and the capture of various other stakeholders, resulting in engineered illegal recalls, financial mismanagement of the country's resources, and ultimately resulting in the collapse of our economy and our social space. This is where we are now, and I will deal briefly with the details. Ladies and gentlemen, those who have just joined us, I am looking at the statement that was written by President Nelson Chamisa before he quit the CCC. Advocate Nelson Chamisa wrote a lot of things that Zimbabweans need to know why he came to this decision to dump a political party that he led to its formation. He pointed to a number of things that I've read here from point 1 to point 15. Some of the points he put down here were the issue of double candidates in the election, the banning of 12 potential members of parliament in Bulawayo, the recalls of our members of parliament. He went on to look into this psychological and cohesion impact, the violence that was initiated by FARS, particularly the rural areas where people were not allowed to vote. He went on to talk about a lot of things or shenanigans that ZEC engaged during or before the preparation of this pool, and the last hurdle that we saw ZEC failing to bring ballot papers to Bulawayo and Harare. The ballot papers which went first to Uzumba Maramba Pfungwe, they were not available in Harare, where they are printed 20 minutes away. And more. So, President Vabata Shagawanda, even the collapse of the economy and the social fabric has also collapsed. Quite a number of things that our president has pointed that has led to his decision. The major decision is about traitors in the opposition. Remember when I started this presentation, I was talking about traitors. I was talking of the people who agreed to spy for the enemy, spying on the CCC. We have got spies in our ranks and files. We have got double agents in our ranks and files. We have got these traitors. And these traitors are only there for money. These traitors, they are ideologically bankrupt. And they compromise the position of the party because they want to eat. It's politics of the stomach and the politics of the ego. I have stated some of the politics of the ego, that the same people we have, or we had in CCC, were the founder members of the PDP, the likes of Wanama Jacob Mafume, where some of them were the founder members of ANZI MDC Renewal, the founder members of MDC Ngure, where they believed that a Shona Zimbabwean cannot lead Zimbabwe politics. They reversed back to Matebeleland and created ka MDC Ngure kawo. Pavakaona kuti vamamira, they had to go and look for a Shona guy, Mutambara, to come and lead them. In a similar way, Yagatonana Douglas Monzora, with the drawing from MDC Alliance, and they appointed Madam Kupe, Mbuya Kupe, to be president, and later discovered that they had made an error. Then they started slapping Kupe. Kupe wambama chezu kunziburuka pachigaro chauri said Douglas Monzora. They realized later that Ndebele Chep cannot lead MDC Alliance, Ndebele Chep cannot lead MDC Ngure, Ndebele Chep cannot lead PDP. Do you understand? It's because of tribalism in those organizations. So that was toxic politics, poisonous politics. Because I'm telling you, as Shepherd Dude, I'm not Shona. I am not Shona. I am neither Shona nor Ndebele. I am happy to be under a Ndebele guy. I'm happy to be under a Shona president. I'm happy to be under a Malawian president. Problem, we had tried and tested Malawi president, Anonza Mugabe, who failed us dismally. And the Zimbabweans resorted back to look for a Zambian in form of Mnangagwa, who is a total failure. Sakandruguti, let's give this chance to the people of Zimbabwe. Malawi provided us with the president in form of Mugabe, and he was a disaster. Zambia gave us Mnangagwa, and he's a total disaster. And the Ndebele boys down in Ashabangu, they still believe in Mnangagwa, who is a total disaster. Saka, if we trend our politics on tribal lines, hakuna kwa tukuyenda. Kukuti Shabangu arada hakuna mshona anubvumirwa kuita MP mu Matabeleland. The problem ya anozokanganwa ndiye kuti arada Bulawayo is a metropolitan seat. Harare is a metropolitan seat. At one time, Harare had a Ndebele mayor. At one time, Zimbabwe, we had a Ndebele president. Harare was at one time under a Ndebele mayor. Kariba constituents at one time was under Nkala. Kumashona, Nkala was Ndebele president, Ndebele member of parliament. So we don't, our politics, once we trade on tribalism, hakuna watrukuyenda. Because if you look at the Bulawayo seat, it's a metropolitan. Munevanu from different places of Zimbabwe. But it's a capital seat. It's the second capital seat of the country. It cannot only be left to Ndebeles only. You can't do that. Could the capital seat, Trimno mu UK, don't the London in the British chete. I'm fano kwa rules mu London. Imi. Ukawaya ku London ugu. Kwa na mayor, mayor mu Asian. Mu London. I think mayor ripona nas mu Asian. London is one of the largest capital cities in the world. And the mayor of London is an Asian guy who came from Asia. He's the mayor there. If you come to the United Kingdom, the prime minister of this country is an Asian. Because a shit or a country like Zimbabwe, Bulawayo, a metropolitan city must not be under a Shona person. Because there is a Ndebele guy who has failed even kunyora. Asaka gononyora staraka nonzi Shabangu. Asina na kudzidza. Who can't read and write? He wants to make sure that Bulawayo, a metropolitan city, is under a tribal group. Ndo saka muri kuona President Nelson Chamisa that he cannot associate himself with such poisonous politics. You cannot say a metropolitan seat like Bulawayo, second capital seat of a country, must all accommodate Ndebeles only. That does not work like that. Saga, even Mnangagwa Chaye should have thrown in, surrender. No. This is not the country we have established. This is not the country we fought during the war. We went to fight Ian Smith, both as Ndebeles and Shonas. So there is nowhere we can say a Shona cannot lead in Matabeleland. There is nowhere we say a Ndebele cannot lead in Mashonaland. Because this is one country. It's not, there are not two countries joined together. It's one country created by the British. There is no Zimbabwean who created Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a country with the boundaries created by Britain. It's a British property. Kaitarsa Zimbabwe map belongs to Britain. It's a British property. It was drawn by the British. And the I don't pick is an ondo ziva. I don't want someone I don't pick is. No, Ziva. Zimbabwe is a British property. The boundaries you see today were drawn by Queen Elizabeth. Ndo muridzi wenyika iyai. Kana mimi muchiti muri varidzi venyika pazai boundary yemutare yenyu toona kuti mimi mune yenyu boundary. Saka tiri kutaura tichiti President Chamisa vati he cannot associate himself with the toxic politics, poisonous politics. Ndati nini kuvana veZimbabwe kuti this is your time as citizens of a country to rally behind fresh politics, to rally behind new politics, to rally behind genuine, fresh and credible leadership that is going to be provided by none other than President Nelson Chamisa. Chamisa tinomira anzi namkoma John, Honorable John Jones, anzi tisu tinomira na vachamisa ndinotenda. Ndosaka tiri kutaura kuti whoever is in Triple C, make it a declaration that iwe unomira na vachamisa. Chete, ndizva tiri kuda kuziva. And there are efforts to try and divide and rule. Ndanzwa vachitaura kuti Maikore vazoapoindwa kuita acting president. Maikore is not all that stupid that she will accept the acting presidents of Triple C. Shavangu cannot go and appoint Maikore. She's Shona. She's Shona. She's not Ndebele. Shavangu doesn't like Shona people. He only likes Ndebele people. So I don't see why he will go and appoint a Shona again to come and lead, whilst he removed all the Shonas in Blaawai. Thank you, Mkoma Peter. Chamisa chete. We will move forward. So to those people who are looking for genuine leadership, who are looking for genuine politics, those people who want to follow or rally behind new politics, you need to follow President Nelson Chamisa. Make a declaration that I follow Chamisa. Ndatoshamisika kunzwa kuti Shavangu haadi kuona maShona, but under Shona president he wants a Shona president that doesn't want a Shona member of parliament in Blaawai. As but you now pakuda mari to hire my snipers and kill those sellouts. How are you say, Chico? Zuri say mwana mai. Right, mkoma admire. Vari kutaura kuti the price for betrayal, guys, can be high. Traitors must just be warned that the price for betrayal can just be high. Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa is trying to force Zimbabwe to turn into Colombia. In Colombia, baba, kutaura kwa trukita nasi, ingadaita kutaura Shavangu down, Welshman move down. Ataito verenga vanhu vakawanda kuti ndingakafa. Dai tiri kuna Colombia. Avaseke. Even bhora chairo, ukadyisa kubhora vanokuuraya. They'll kill you. How about being a traitor? How about someone who agree to spy for the enemy? Uchishanda uchiti uri Triple C whilst you are spying for an enemy. Ndati during the war, go and read Chitepo assassination. You can tell that during the war, ZANU-PF vaishandisa language would send him home. They didn't mean that they will take you, arrest you, put you in a bus to go home. No. They will take you, arrest you, tie your hands, tie your legs, load you into a car, drive you in the bush and make a wall with a 9mm pistol in your empty skull. Madla, fadza handityisa. Fadzai maera ayo handityisa. Remember, ndakabuda ndichibvunza kuti how genuine is Fadzai maera? He shocked me today. Munhu ane vision. So what we are saying now, President Chamisa went on to say the legitimacy crisis. He touched on the legitimacy crisis. Point number 16 on the legitimacy crisis is the whole world saw, witnessed and observed our shambolic and sham elections. Without being subjective, all credible and independent electoral observers have spoken widely and openly about the elections. These are the elections which created illegitimacy in our country. Point number 17, he said, I particularly wish to salute you, the citizens of Zimbabwe, for your resolve and peaceful disposition. Your efforts were and are not in vain. We extol you, the citizens, for your valor, indomitable commitment, and your unbridled determination to realize a just, prosperous, and equitable Zimbabwe for everyone. What you did on the 23rd of August, albeit in a sham, you made history. Your sacrifices made a huge difference. You stopped a one-party state. You stopped a one-party state. You voted for change. You won. You braved the night cold. Some of you traveled from out of the country. You used your own resources. All that effort was not in vain. That was point number 17. The steps we are taking now are in defense of your commitment. What is being fought is your refusal to yield to a systematic disenfranchisement and the sham process. He went on to look at point number 18. On the day of voting, you as citizens saw the voter intimidation, voter suppression, and voter manipulation. You told me about the command voting, voting under the instruction and watchful eye of traditional leaders, who also in turn told me about their predicament of being forced to be partisan when their traditional office called upon them to be no partisan and inclusive. Point number 19. You also witnessed an unprecedented voter suppression and non-participation when you were denied the right to vote, particularly in Harare and Bulawayo, where ballot papers were not delivered. In itself, a clear, contrived scheme to disenfranchise and systematically marginalize voters in certain targeted areas perceived to be strongholds of the alternative. 20. You also witnessed the midnight voting, midnight printing of ballot papers, and the midnight announcement of midnight results. You also witnessed a bizarre presidential ballot paper layout meant to give an advantage to the incumbent. That is page 21. Page 22. You also witnessed the systematic voter displacement having been registered in a different location. Point 23. You also witnessed the absence of voters' roll on the polling station in terms of the law. Point 24. You also realized that ZEC did not respond to all the concerns that we raised, hence failing to pass the Bill of Health, of Confidence and Credibility. The deficits of the duty of integrity, professionalism, accountability, transparency, and constitutionality is astounding. Point very important, point 24. Kuti ZEC yakafeila pa integrity test. ZEC failed on the professionalism test. ZEC failed on the accountability tests. It also failed on the transparency test and the constitutionality tests. That means ZEC did not honor our constitution. ZEC did not do its business transparently. Izvo zvese zvakataura izvi vachamisa vati zvakashamisa. Point 25, you also witnessed the bizarre situation of the incumbent who was also candidate, unilaterally, subjectively, and electrically chose or selected areas for the extension of voting. Hanzi Chigumba tinaye futi pa 2028. Ndokana vakomana musina kuita basa ka anenge aripo pa 2028. But if you are very serious about sending traitors home, I don't think kuti 2028 tinenge tichinaye. Daima mutora maenda naye. Daima mutora maenda naye. Daima mutora maenda naye. Daima mutora maenda naye. Kuimba zvangu. But 2028, it's 4 years. It's not now. It's far. Saka ndati nini, kana ma-traitors asina kuti were dealt with, 2028, tinenge tichinawo, wasting people's time. Point 27, vachamisa vati, you also witnessed the omission of stakeholders not being informed ahead of time of the presiding officers and being asked to raise their queries if they are in. Further, the election result was not audited, authenticated, validated, and signed for by the chief election agent of presidential candidate as is required by the law. 28. As you may recall, after the elections, I went around the country. I came to you when I went on a citizens' interface and listening tour. You were very clear that the 23rd elections, August 23 elections, did not meet the standard, pass the test of credibility. The announced results was not an authentic result or a representation of the collective of the citizens' voice. 29. In addition, I wrote to and petitioned SADC requesting their assistance to help us find each other as Zimbabweans. I further dispatched to the SADC region and African continent delegations to explain the context of the Zimbabwean challenges and our proposed solutions. SADC is to this day still seized with this matter. I want to thank African leaders for listening and extending their courtesy and magnanimity to us. It is my hope that together as Africans, we will find Africa solutions to our Africa challenges. Point 30. In conclusion, there can be no doubt that the 23rd of August 2023 process was not a credible election. It goes without saying that it is only through an authenticate and valid election that a legitimate government is formed, emerges, and is recognized by the citizens and the whole world. This simply has not happened. This is the legitimacy issue. Proper and credible elections must be conducted in Zimbabwe. Atakwenda entrenchment of authoritarianism. Point 31. President Chamisa wrote, I salute you, fellow Zimbabweans. You won against all odds and under difficult circumstances, although the 23rd process was not a proper election. 32. We salute the citizens for stopping oppression and repression. What you did matters. 33. After they failed to defeat you in the arena, you control as citizens, that is the ballot. They want to give power to institutions that do not control. 34. They don't want to give citizens rights. and the opportunity to choose their leadership. They don't believe in one man, one vote, and they also don't believe in elections. For them, the idea is to have a ritual, and for purpose for portraying an exercise of an election, which is not an election. They want to make sure your voice does not matter. They went forward to use the institutions they control, the parliament and the courts, to make sure the voice of the citizens is not heard. 35. All the tomfoolery and the so-called recalls are an attempt to perpetuate the taking away of your voice, citizens' rights. This is as a systematic and deliberate disenfranchisement campaign. 36. Realizing the rejection by the citizens, the incumbent, as you can see, the incumbent has decided and conceived that for their survival, they have to resort to authoritarianism and repression. Chief amongst their strategy is the destruction of the alternative voice. Point number 37. Just 12 days after the swearing in of members of parliament and councillors, you saw the engineered emergence sprouting of an imposter, masquerading as an acting Secretary General of CCC, a position and a title that did not exist in the CCC. This said person purported to wield powers to unilaterally recall citizens' elected representatives, powers to instruct the parliament, powers to instruct ZEC, powers to instruct the courts, powers to disregard the electoral, and power to impose citizens' representatives to parliament and local authorities. Point 38. This person who is unknown to us now single-handedly wields so much power. He has basically been turned into an organization courtesy of the ZANU-PF. 39. The emergence of this imposter should not be looked at the isolation from the 23rd slum. They failed to achieve your disenfranchisement through the 23rd sham. They are pursuing this agenda. Till this day, an attempt to suppress the people's voice or your voice or the citizens' voice is continuing. 40. What is mind-boggling is the fact that the whole nation has had to be plunged into unjustifiable waste of national resources in a wasteful yet avoidable expenditure on legal by-elections. This money would have made a huge difference in fighting cholera and other social priorities to save and preserve life or lives. Fellow citizens, point number 41. As you may be aware, we held over 88 rallies. We did our best against all odds and under difficult circumstances. Contrary to peddled propaganda, we used our own resources, the citizens' resources. Our biggest donor was you, the citizens. We traveled over 29,660 kilometers across Zimbabwe to meet the citizens. I vividly recall the hopes and expectations you expressed to me wherever I went. The citizens of Zimbabwe in the diaspora and at home sustained our campaigns, and we are forever grateful. We were able to raise nomination fees for some candidates who did not have any. We had posters for all candidates. We fielded candidates in almost all constituencies and wards. We deployed and supported polling agents in almost all polling stations. This is no mean feat. It's not a small achievement. Surprisingly, at the point, the unknown person purporting to be interim something had already started to pitch camp within our other side. To complete Point 42. The war seekers. All of a sudden, even our competitors, ZANU-PF, pretend as if they were born yesterday and do not know who they were contesting with on the 23rd of August 2023. Yet, even a grade 1 pupil knows who the leaders and representatives of the CCC are. Yet, our courts, the Speaker of Parliament, and the ZEC claim that they don't know this common fact. Something is definitely wrong with Zimbabwe. Despite the person not being known to us, that's point 43. This is a clear scheme of the authoritarian incumbent to decimate the alternative and perpetuate tyranny. Point number 44. They have now resorted to the abuse of our courts through this as a strategy of entrenching authoritarianism. They have sponsored agents that have infiltrated the alternative in order to ensure that they install an opposition that dances to their tune, like what they have always done in the past. For the record, point 45, it's a cardinal political sin to seek to negate clear citizens' political choices constitutionally expressed through the ballot, albeit disputed and contested. Point 46. Political persecution has also increased. The incarceration without bail and conviction of lawyer and former MP Honorable Job Scala and Honorable Godfrey Stolle and together with other political prisoners is a case in point. Many are charged under different political charges, including many human rights defenders. Why is the incumbent doing all this? Point 47. The incumbent is doing all this because they want a government-controlled opposition and alternative. They also want an opposition that thrives on coupons and stipends, joining the feeding trough and the gravy train, almost being in a hear no evil, see no evil, and speak no evil mode. 48. They want to create a weak opposition and a puppet leadership without a base, who compromise on fundamentals of democracy, accountability, and good governance. 49. They are unhappy with an alternative that refuses to be bought or contaminated by trinkets and trappings of power. 50. They don't want us as citizens, leaders, to have access to the political party's funds as enshrined in terms of the Political Parties Finance Act. 51. They also seek to illegally divert taxpayers' money and national resources to themselves and their created podos. In essence, criminally looting and abusing national resources, as we have all witnessed in the last 5 years and before. 52. The incumbent seeks to destroy our regional and global advocates for a return to legitimacy and majority rule in Zimbabwe. 53. The incumbent seeks to shoot and destroy the messenger in order to kill the message of a fraudulent election. 54. The incumbent seeks to divert change champions to focus internally and inward and not focus on the bigger picture of legitimacy and a credible election. 55. The incumbent has been seeking to fraudulently secure a false and a fallacious 2/3 majority in parliament. 56. The incumbent was embarrassed and wanted to authenticate itself, hoping that they will get away with the fraud. 57. The incumbent wanted to discredit the alternative as weak, divided, and without capacity to govern, which they fully know that it is false. 58. The incumbent was embarrassed they didn't get a single seat in Bulawayo. So this is a strategy to claw back on the citizens' victory by taking criminally all they could not secure through their governance record. So the consequences of illegitimate economic and social collapse Point number 59. Fellow citizens, the consequences of a disputed and a contested election have been too evident for you all to see. We are wallowing in abject poverty, opportunities are dwindling, and our dignity eroded. 60. After the incumbent took office, the following has been the status of our economy and the social circumstances. 1. A. Collapse of social service, in particular the issue of cholera. B. The issue of forced migration, the influx of citizens at the passport office and the escalating number of citizens leaving the country for other countries. C. The government has increased the passport price, almost cashing it on the desperation of the people of Zimbabwe. 61. I need not remind you and mention how our economy has deteriorated since the 2018 sham election, when the US dollar was 1:1. Now officially it has depreciated at the official rate of $9,414 by 944,000%, and the parallel market is 15,000. That means 1.5 million%. Despite the misbegotten bragging that the RTGS is the strongest currency in the region, the nation has a debt of over 18 billion. 62. The state coffers are empty, resulting in high taxation. Pensioners have no pension. Whole veterans are wallowing in poverty. Education is now beyond the reach of men. Our teachers are not being paid well. Prices are skyrocketing in the shops. Corruption and looting of state resources causing entrenched poverty almost amongst the working class. We are unprecedented high levels of corruption. 63. Professionals are disrespected through meager salaries with no value or to their professional skills. 64. The health sector is in a sorry state. Our hospitals have become death traps. Most of our medical professionals are leaving the country. 65. We are ranked least happy in the world. Highest inflation, highest road accidents, and highest poverty. We lead in the negative. 66. All this is after the sham election. Can this administration be expected to change things? No. Certainly no. Can the incumbent be expected to transform people's lives? Certainly no. And reverse the mess they have created? Certainly no. Clearly no. What is very clear is that this administration has absolutely no plan. 67. This is clearly demonstrated by the fact that for the first time in electoral history, ZANU-PF went to the elections without a manifesto. This is a clear indication that they have no plan and the citizens cannot expect any plan from ZANU-PF. Now we need a way forward. Returning Zimbabwe to legitimacy and majority rule. Point 68. To fix the legitimacy problem and to return Zimbabwe to majority rule, we need all-inclusive politics for everyone and embark on comprehensive political, electoral, and constitutional reforms to pave way and create a platform for peace, tolerance, reconciliation, unity, and prosperity. We get rid of toxicity, hate, and selfless leaders. Leaders in public office must serve, not to be served. Government must operate on the basis of truth, respect, accountability, responsibility, and granting dignity to citizens of a country. Coming to the point of CCC, this is point number 69. As you may be aware, the Triple C idea was an idea we prayerfully conceived. The original idea meant to place our God and the citizens at the center of every decision making in the country. This test was not passed and the purpose was not served. The original Triple C idea has, however, been contaminated, bastardized, hijacked by ZANU-PF through the abuse of state institutions. Triple C has not been aligned to its founding purposes and mandate. Further, Triple C has now been rendered an extension of and been taken over by ZANU-PF. Triple C has to all intents and purposes been criminally handed over to ZANU-PF. Our politics has been defiled by schemes of personal aggrandizement upon a runaway pursuit of politics of positions, titles, benefits, trinkets, and trappings of office. A contaminated, bastardized, hijacked Triple C cannot deliver a new great Zimbabwe. But then God's grace is sufficient. Indeed, God is in it. However, point 72. It is not like ZANU-PF is unconquerable. This ZANU-PF you see today, you will see it no more. Our God has opened a new day. Unfortunately, the road is narrow and I have to meet the demands of my assignments. The citizens of Zimbabwe will be set free from the hands of oppression. Point 73. On account of the absence of any plan by the incumbent to resolve the Zimbabwe crisis, the solution to the problems affecting our beautiful and beloved country, Zimbabwe must return to legitimacy and majority happiness. 74. We, as the citizens, are duty-bound to find lasting answers to the perennial national questions. With what has happened to Triple C, we need honest and accountable citizens in leadership. Stand ready to serve, not to be served. Now, 75. I have been approached by war veterans, women's groups, youth groups, church leaders, traditional leaders, trade unions, civil society, and even various leaders on the continent on the ways to find a lasting solution to our problems as a nation. Various schemes and carrots have been dangled to entice the undermining of the cause for freedom. Some of us have refused the silver coins in pursuit of the higher ideal, happiness and dignity for everyone. It is now clear to everyone that big money is finding into the pockets of some who, on account of poverty and material desperation, have succumbed to the temptation of enticement. The infiltration of Triple C and our efforts to wrestle it out of capture is to our utmost surprise, but not unexpected. Being denied through the judicial system, defying all logic and legal reasoning. 77. We are being thrown into a river with hungry crocodiles. But clearly, in our view, I will refuse to swim in a river with hungry crocodiles. We need to extricate ourselves from the shenanigans. I will have nothing to do with the sewer pond politics. 78. We call upon all citizens to rally behind fresh politics, new politics, and genuine, fresh, and credible leaders who want to serve and not to be served. ZANU-PF can take everything that we sweated for, take the part and its name, take the money, and whoever is beneficiary of this fraud is a certified fraudster. This is to officially and under my hand inform you fellow Zimbabweans, citizens of Zimbabwe, and the world that with immediate effect, I no longer have anything to do with CCC. Point 80. As a patriot, I remain active in public service. I also remain a loyal citizen listener, freedom advocate, a citizen's champion, and a leader. Point 82. There are fresh things we need to do. Let's all work together for a total freedom. True chance, true change, and holistic transformation for our beloved country. Giving up or giving in is not an option. Nothing comes without tenacity and resilience. Fellow citizens, you will be kept posted on the next step. Thank you all, fellow citizens, for the support and continued prayers as we get ready to lead and pray a nation-building role in a new great Zimbabwe. Let us embrace the opportunity that lie ahead. Change is coming soon. God bless you all. God is in it. Hashtag. This was posted on the 24th of January 2024 in Harare, Zimbabwe. Obiza madota, zviri kufamba here. So, ladies and gentlemen, mainzwa statement ya President Nelson Chamisa. This is the whole statement that was deposed by the former CCC leader, by the former CCC MDC alliance leader. I remember President Chamisa addressing the nation saying he has never been a destroyer. His entire political history is centered on building. He has never destroyed anything. He has always been building and building and building, whilst others were finding it proper to destroy whatever President Chamisa has built. ZANU-PF has seen a perfect opportunity in those who want enticement, who want to bribes. ZANU-PF has seen a perfect opportunity. It's because of poverty. Most of these guys are not employed. They've never been employed. They rely on public offices. Takuenda kuma elections vanenge vachimhanya vachinyepera allegiance to our president, and later on to turn into double agents of the evil Mnangagwa. Because these guys, what they are doing is they want money. Every Zimbabwean wants money. Tine vanhu vakatadza kudzokera muparliament nenyaya idzodzi. Idzodzi akata someone kuita ma-MP kudzokera muparliament. Saka ndiri kutaura tichiti information about this group rana Hlabangu vachitira kudai takaibata kudhara iyi information about these agents plotting against President Chamisa. Pane munhu ambonyora achiranzi wabvuma here kuti Biti is an agent. If you follow all my presentations about what I said about Tendai Biti, you can all have a clear idea of what I said. Apana pandakambotaura kuti Biti is a sellout. Apana. Apana pandakambotaura kuti Biti are involved in these shenanigans. I defended Tendai Biti, the Biti that I know. Tendai was not even involved in all these shenanigans in my plots. Until today, I can still stand by Biti. Kuti haasi involved. Kana pana ane evidence kuti Biti are involved, send it to me. Mangwana chaendo vanatoita interview. Ndo vanatoita a presentation about Tendai Biti's involvement. But chatavutaura ndechekuti let's not take a brush and paint everyone. Because nyaya iri kutambwa panapa tribalism. Yekuti those people, this group that plotted to usurp Triple C, what they don't want is a Shona person in Matabeleland. Unfortunately, they don't understand what a metropolitan is. Bulawayo is a seat where probably the majority in Bulawayo are Shona people. They are different from the majority in Matabeleland North. So there is no sinister plot for a Shona person to be mayor in Matabeleland, in Bulawayo, to be MP in Bulawayo. If you go and do your census in Bulawayo metropolitan seat, you will find 90% of residents there are Shona people. Zvakafanana kuti ukaenda kumabvuku nhasi, ita census kumabvuku, you will know that the 90% people in Mavuk, 90% of people, residents in Mavuk, are all from Malawi. They're from Malawi. Hakuna mshona kumavuku. And I'm not a census saying, Mundu uzati mashona mangani Mavuku. Ukaonata kuti kuda ayuda, kuti vaite MP Mavuku, ota azviite nokuti urumbwidi. Azvishande, azvibude izvozvo. Azvibude. Go to Bulawayo today. The majority are Shonas there. And they got the Mashona nenda nyepa futi. Ana achimwene ndisitakawanda, wana soma piri. Ndisitakawanda kuku. Wana ramani gumbo. Ndo wakawanda kuyakwe. Ukatasa Highlanders chai kuti yaitambirwa bhora nevanhu vakaita sei. Unongoona ne composition ya Highlanders. Ukaverenga mandevele vakatambira Highlanders. Unogona kuona vasingapfuure 10 Ndeveles who played for Highlanders. Kubva 1980 kusvika nhasi unogona kutadza kuona 10 mandevele akatambira Highlanders. Ukona kutarisa vana madinda and love haasi mandevele aya matonga. Ana makwinjiso mapiri haasi mandevele aya mabwidi ekumalawi. Ana bhiya ncube vaya they are not Ndebele people. Ana Douglas British Muloi, that guy is not Ndebele.
Actually wanted this one.
Ana Raman Gumbo. Hakuna Mndebele anonzi Raman Gumbo. Hakuna. Saka tikada kutarisa mandevele chaicha vakatambira Highlanders. Pamwe iwani ainzi kwete Swana, Mexidi Swana asi Ndebele. Patikataura munhu akata sa ainzi Kumalo ainzi aniyo. Did Kumalo blast and Jenga singaiti chachi. Otherwise ndiye Mndebele wana akatambira Highlanders. Peter Nkomo asi Ndebele. Don't tell me Nkomo Mndebele. Nenda kutambira kuti asi Ndebele. Even Joshua Ngoma itaura kuti there is no one Ndebele, no Shona. Because he knew was not Ndebele. Saga, people need to understand that a metropolitan seat, you cannot say you don't want Shona people in a metropolitan seat. It doesn't work like that. And it more. Saka tinawo ma-agents, ma-traitors. Atinawo watiri kuziva varimo. Kuti vamwe venyu muri kushandisa ma-code names yatokuzivai. But information itakafukura tinayo. Zvafana kuti ukauya kuno ku-UK, ukanza vanhu vachiti 007. 007, maimutani James Bond. It was code here intelligence. Yainzi 007. Ndo kudaidzwa kwainoitwa. That means officer anenge ane code 007 is licensed to kill. Varaita kunge firimu vanhu vachinakirwa nekuona intelligence yechi-British. Saka tiri kutaura tichiti ngatirege kutanga musindo wetribalism, because zvesure guys, it's unpredictable. The outcome of tribalism is unpredictable. Saka ukaona those who are rallying behind Chabangu on tribal lines, you are a shame. You are a shame. What are you doing, Gona?
Make tea, John tea.
And this man's guys. Saka ukaona whatever is happening now, the shenanigans achitaura na President Chamisa. Mashenanigans azoita kuti varakashi vaone nyaya. They are transmitting all false information, creating all diversions from real life, real things. The issue that is at the stake is the issue of legitimacy. If patakaenda paka-adoptwa neSADC the issue of Zimbabwe, that only means we must expect elections in Zimbabwe anytime, because SADC is dealing with two issues at the moment. The first issue is about DRC. They adopted the issue of Congo, and they want to make sure that the issue of Congo has been resolved. As I am speaking right now, they have sent soldiers to fight on behalf of DRC and make peace in the northeastern region. And Zimbabwe was not involved. Zimbabwe has not been invited. They were not even asked to contribute to peacekeeping in Eastern DRC. And there is a reason why Zimbabwe soldiers have been excluded. The first major reason is Zimbabwe soldiers, when they were deployed to deal with the strike or the riots in the CBD of Harare, instead of them to go and quell the situation, they went on a rampage of killing innocent civilians. If you invite Zimbabwe army for peacekeeping in DRC, they will end up killing innocent people there. This is the reason why SADC said they cannot invite Zimbabwe soldiers, because they don't know what their role is as soldiers. You cannot go in the CBD of Harare and start gunning down innocent civilians. You are not a soldier. You are a youth militia. So this is another reason why Zimbabwe was never invited in SADC. Because they don't know what their duties are, their roles are. They have been deployed to deal with the rioting people in Harare Central, in the CBD Harare. Instead of quelling down the riots, they worsened the situation, went on to slaughter innocent civilians in the city center. Hakuna organization inoda masoja for peacekeeping wanayozotora masoja eZimbabwe. That will not happen. Because what Warakash are doing now, we all know that Mnangagwa is at his weakest point. Akaenda kunana line the movement. Panonzi president waimtorwa mapictures paya, akamhanya waida kunotorwawo, and vakamhanya vakanomudrega vakamuti you are illegitimate. So the issue of legitimacy is haunting him. Warakash might want to convince the world. In fact, what they write on Twitter, very few people around the world will read such nonsense. They read such nonsense, very few. Because most of the Warakashi on Twitter, they hide behind pseudonym names. No one wants to read about ghosts. This is why if you go on Twitter, unoona Twitter account yangu, Twitter handle yangu, yakan Shepherd Judah. They want to read what Shepherd is writing. Dara, say. They don't read what pseudonym names write. They don't read nonsense. Say no matter. Urubo. So what they are trying to paint to the world, they are trying to paint that they are not a weak, that they are not a at their weakness or convince the world that the ZANU-PF is not at its weakness or weakest point. They want to pretend as if they are strong. Not strong at all. Amwene munali kutiko. Amwene ndinari kuchita read statement that was deposed by President Nelson Chamisa. To those who just join us, atete QD manono. To those who just join us, I was reading about a statement. I've read the full statement. Yaganyorwa na President Nelson Chamisa. In about 70, let me check how many points. In about 84 points that he has stated. Those 84 points, they are grouped in subheadings. The issue about CCC is from 69 to 84. Okay, I'll do that. The issue about CCC is 69, from point 69 to point 84. This is where President Chamisa has stated reasons why he is leaving CCC. Among those reasons, he said, there are fresh things we need to do. Let's all work together for total freedom. We need true change and holistic transformation for our beloved country. So President Chamisa is encouraging Zimbabweans that giving up or giving in is not an option. Nothing comes without tenacity and resilience. You need to be resilient. He went on to say, fellow citizens, you will be kept posted on the next move. And he has said, even he has nothing to do with CCC. President Chamisa has said, as a patriot, he will remain active in public service. He will also remain loyal citizen listener, freedom advocate, and a citizen's champion leader. He is going to remain our leader. So, President Chamisa, in this statement, vakataura kuti havashinei nechekuita nebato rinonzi CCC. Nekuti bato rinonzi CCC taona a carrot being dangled to entice the undermining of the cause of freedom. Kana vachiti a carrot being dangled, paakushanda dzinonzi mari. ZANU-PF inongosvika kuna MP obva mutaura haiwawo unofanira muchatonga rini zvatinoitwa nevanhu nevarakashi. Vanouya kuinbox obvunza kuti Shepherd, yakuzanu zvakuti zvida uchitira ZANU uchitobenefita Shepherd. Kutaura kuti ingadai ukatengerwa imba, ingadai ukati wanechiwane maproperties ako kuZimbabwe, because you are doing a great job for CCC. My friend, come do it for ZANU-PF. Wonder hauna chaunopiwa here. That carrots have been dangled in front of my eyes, but I've refused that. I've remained steadfast. I've refused the coins. ZANU, President Chamisa. Could some of us have refused the silver coins in pursuit of the higher ideal, happiness and dignity for everyone? Unoziva kuti dai ndaiteerera ti kutonora. Dai ndiri hure rinoda mari. Kutaura kwandiri kuita so ndiri ZANU panapa. But zvese izvo takazviramba. My temptations akauya to entice me into doing ZANU-PF things. Ndakazviramba. Saka President Chamisa cannot reside in a CCC heavily infiltrated like that. Mukudati vatete. Ndorwa Jompi. Andi murikuona. Asi ndokanda joka, vakanda joka mdaro. Vakanda joka. Saka muri kuona ndara vakanda joka. Varakashi vakuda kuzvisimbisa. Varakashi vakuda kuzvisimbisa. They are now transmitting false information. They are now creating my diversions. Ndakanzwa murakashi anonzi mutisi uya anonyenga vana kuSouth Africa. Hanzi usamumbosiya kamwana kakukana kana 10 years or so namutisi kanomitiswa. Ari kunyora hanzi Chamisa afane kuresigna kusati kwaitwa audit yemabhuku. Ndakaseka zvangu ndikati tekechiona umwe vanhu tichifunga kuti vakadzidza. Inini zvangu ndofarira munhu akaenda kuchikoro akafoira. Bhozi anenge akavhurika pfungwa anoona. Chamisa anga asiri treasure. Hakuna kwaibata mari. Hakuna kwaibata mari. Saka zvekunzi mabhuku anozoda kuitwa sei, Chamisa cannot go azvishande zvazvo. Taitofunga pamwe kuda ndo vakamboticha muna South Africa pamwe pfungwa dzakavhurika but akatoona kuti vakavharika pfungwa. Zvozikanwa hapana. Anditi maona. Ameno nkoma hopu vanga vachingonyораwo vachingono. Dzonyorawo guys. Kana dzafunga kunyora dzonyora. Saka dzachitaura kuti members of parliament vakavhoterwa vaifamba na president Chamisa vaive kuti kana chiri chokwadi chekuti you guys stand for democracy, it means resigning from the corrupt captured ZANU-PF agenda setting parliament. Saka vari kuti the best time to do this was last year, as I said, then the other best last time to do so, and it's now. We know what brought us here. For now, let us see the orgies.
Okay, wait.
And imona. Saka zvakawanda. Zviri kuenda varakashi. Ukatarisa varakashi, they've been put in disarray. They've put in disarray. Saka urikuona kuti vasara ZANU-PF hanzi navachingono yasara yakabata chideme. Haisina vasara vakabata chideme, vangopusha chideme chisina mavhiri neinjini. Saka to those people vaifunga kuti uyu haasi muzanu shabangu, zvaclear. And ukaona matukirwo ari kuitwa nevanhu panapa, hanzi you should first return the cars and properties you stole from MDC with the bit and your renewal team in 2014. Ya mudhara vakanda joka. Saka tiri kutaura tichiti vakomana, let's rally behind President Nelson Chamisa. Tikasadaro tauraya opposition muZimbabwe. Nyaya iri kundipa kuti daro tite rally behind President Chamisa. Nyaya yekuti kwatakuenda kwakumkwidza. Takwidza inonzi last hurdle in English. Ndo yatakukwidza. Saka you find that this is 11:15. Wow, pakati peusiku. Chirega indite quit. Then mangwana to analyze statement ya president. Hands gonna linda vari kucheme. Diamonds was statement yataurwa na president Chamisa. regai ndipatsvage ndizame kupadzokerera pataurwa napresident Chamisa. Pari important ipapo vanhu munofanira kupabata kuti chanetsa padzataura nyaya ye-antising yayi ye-carrot being dangled, dzataura nyaya ye-poverty. Munoziva kuti dai vana Linda Masarira vaya ane kubasa kwaanoenda achishanda, kana dai tati members of parliament vanosenza somewhere else, they don't hesitate to resign from parliament. Inini kana ndichizvishandira ndichihora mari yangu, kana ndire political party yangu, hapana anondimanikidzira kuti huya kupolitical party yakati, hazviite. And they were calling him a dictator, and they are now angry again that he has resigned. It's very unfortunate kuti varakashi vese, even wana Professor Jonathan Moyo, ndati ameno kuti maprofessor ekuZimbabwe, but unobva watoshaya kuti uprofessor. Imbondiudzayo imi vanhu vakaenda kuchikoro kuti munhu azonzi professor zvinenge zvambofamba sei, kuti munhu paanonzi uyu munhu ngaaprofessor, chii chaizvo zvinoitika kuti munhu anzi professor. Bhozi mafungiro atiri kuona ka haasi euprofessor. Mafungiro atiri kuona chaiwo haungati mafungiro aprofessor. Saka zviri kunzi vanhu vese endai vane maFacebook nyorai kuti I stand with President Nelson Chamisa. Bhozi vanhu vese vari ngosenda we love you president, we love you president. Tiri kudai president. Mukoma Ferik Mnyoro ndiri live uyaitinzwa. Pane vanhu vanga vachikumbira live tiripo wakomana. Inini I stand with President Nelson Chamisa. With no doubts, I stand with President Chamisa. Handisi kuzivawo henyu mimi vamwe vedu kuti makamira nani. Inini hangu I declare I stand with President Nelson Chamisa, because dzangu hadzisi dumbu dzepolitics, hadzisi politics dzedumbu, dzangu ipolitics dzekuchinja nyika yeZimbabwe kuti nyika ichinje iva neutongi hwakanaka. Tobayiwa nekumwati rutonora. Saka ndataura ndikati ndandaoneka, sorry guys, it's midnight now. Regai nditi good night. Tozoona mangwana kutoita sei anditika. We are back live on Facebook. Shepherd Yuda. Good night.